Hi, Chris here. So I've built a nice simple space plane. Building space planes is really easy. I advise everyone to try it straight away. Perhaps not quite that easy. So what we do is we just got a simple jet engine. It's going to take us above the thick part of the atmosphere, and then we'll activate these main rockets and take ourselves up into space. We've got 2 seats because we're wanting to do a recovery, and oh, we flipped out. Try to recover. And no. Once you start not going forward, it basically can be impossible to recover. Especially with a big ugly thing like this. Right, I've nearly got it now. So this ship is supposed to go up and do a recovery from orbit. Hence it's got 2 seats. One for Jebediah and one for the guy I'm rescuing. There we go, I've got stability again. I'm losing altitude though. Hopefully I'll be able to build that speed again. Oh, and my engine setup is wrong. Okay, that's not quite ideal, is it? Alright, so I think we'll give up at this point and try again. This is why we included parachutes. Lots and lots of parachutes. So even when we're spinning wildly out of control, we do not lose Jebediah. There we go. Fairly intact landing. So let's improve this. I'm going to lose a bit of weight. So I'm going to lose the front fuel tanks of both the rockets and on the central jet. Put these nose cones back on. And the air intake. Then I'm going to put the parachutes back on. Because it might crash and die again. Also, this strut here is not symmetrical for some reason. So let's put that back on. And then we're looking at our mass and our lift. So you want them to be fairly close to each other. The closer they are, the easier the aircraft is to control. Although you also tend to spin wildly out of control. There we go. Just do some fine adjustments there. There we have it. Our Mark B. The Mark B Starfall 1. Hopefully it will not finally explode. So this time I'm making sure that our control group is set up properly. I don't have the custom action groups set up at the moment. You have to unlock them. So what you can do is, if you've got any other action groups, any of the standard ones that you're not using, like lights for example, or RCS. Oh, I've forgotten front wheel. Anyway, you can put things to, say, the RCS, which are completely unrelated to the RCS, in the action group setup. So you can flip these 2 side engines off with the press of a button, and then you can use lights to set up the jet as well. So if I press L for the lights, it will switch the jet off and on. And if I press R for the RCS, then the liquid rockets will go on. Should we gain a bit of speed? Hopefully we'll be able to take off intact. Right, we've got some speed now. Let's try lifting up. There we go. Nice and easy. So we've got good speed. Put the nose up a little bit. So I'm hoping to get about 15,000 meters. Once we get there, we're going to activate the liquid engine. So I'm going a bit steep here. Might have to lower it in the nose a little bit. The problem is if you lower your nose too far, you're going to pick up a lot of speed, and then you'll get lots of heat problems. Okay, 3,000 meters, still going. We can click the fuel button up here. It'll show us the air intake rate. Obviously when the air intake begins to drop, we'll lose thrust from our engine. There are better and worse air intakes. Obviously more is better, but they also work differently at different altitudes. This is the tier 2 one. There's a much better one as well. Obviously I haven't unlocked the tech tree yet. And once you get that, it becomes quite trivial to get into space. Okay, so I'm loading those again. This is because my speed was just beginning to drop there. So you want to leave it as long as possible before activating those liquid engines. You haven't got that much fuel on them, and it'll burn an awful lot faster compared to the central jet engine. Jet engines are hugely energy efficient. So we're getting 8,000 meters, nice and stable. Now you see I've got SAS modules in the front of the ship. This is because it does make it much easier to fly. Normally, if you don't have SAS, it's going to be a bit of a dog. As we saw earlier, if you move just a little bit off the straight and narrow, your aircraft can begin to completely flip out and spin and you'll die. So having absolutely perfect control is key. Also I've got these crappy landing gears. These are the tier 1 landing gears, and they're just junk. They don't retract, and they've got the aerodynamics of a dog. Okay, 13,000 meters. My thrust, as you can see, is dropping quite fast now. Just right click on the engine and look at the thrust. Obviously as we approach zero air intake, it will cut out. Actually it'll cut out before you reach there, and it'll begin to sputter. Sputtering engines is a huge problem, especially if you have two of them. If you have one engine on both sides and they both begin to sputter, they'll sputter at slightly different rates, so it'll cause your aircraft to spin around. So jet engines work best if you put them in the centre. It basically makes you immune from spins from sputtering. Right, so I'm going to switch on the liquid engines and try to turn up to 45 degrees. Okay. So you're gaining speed. Oh no. Oh, wow. Let's power down, see if I can regain control. Now I've lost my speed now. Well, that's also how not to do Spaceplanes. It's quite tough, especially with this low technology. The higher tech you get, the much easier it gets. So let's go back to the drawing board, see if we can adjust our design so we don't spin out and flip around like this. I'm thinking a slightly thinner wingspan. Right. So let's take these bits off. I'm just going to take that section out entirely. I'm going to switch on your mass and the lift. Okay, take that bit at the back off. looks fairly good. See if I can get them closer to each other. I could actually put them at an angle like that. Let's get it closer. It's my mass and my lift very close. It does look a little bit silly, but let's see if it works. Silliness is what Kerbal Space Program is all about. So let's not be afraid of trying something a little bit experimental and a little bit silly. So switch the engine on full. Okay, the engine's almost scraping on the ground. That's a bit of a problem. Right, okay, it really is scraping on the ground. Oh, okay, and our engine's linked to one on the side again. Okay, we can still build a bit of speed up. There we go. Switch it on and off. There we go, around in circles. Works perfectly. Exactly as intended. Hey, now we can glide up. Let's see if we can land the thing. Can keep doing that one engine. Okay, let's try to maintain speed. So we're going to not keep our nose too high. Then just flare at the last minute. Right, when we flared, we hit a bit more of our ship on the ground. Yeah, that tail sticking out is a problem. There we go, they've basically landed. Jebediah's alive. It's always a good sign. There we have it, successful landing. So brake and slow that one down and try something else. Okay, so I'm going to try to take off that big, huge tail fin I've got and try to get something a little bit more sensible. So let's put that one on. It's a bit smaller. And of course you need the two side ones. And then you've got the basic aircraft. So let's try this one. So let's just change the number. We've got a completely different ship from the first time we tried. So Starfall 2. See how it does. Oh, that engine's scraping along the ground again. It's a bit higher than before. Probably gonna die if I try to take off though. Let's see if I can do it. Got good speed. Stop blowing it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, still alive. Still gliding. Let's try to not do that. So that engine scraping on the ground is a huge problem. Wow, and our lift and mass were really far off. Why has our lift suddenly gone so far back? It's odd. Ah, it might be because the mass has gone. We had that big heavy tail thing. God, it must have weighed a ton. Don't think there's any way to do this now. We needed the ballast of that big tail. Okay, so let's add some more forward lift. There you go, that looks quite sleek. Save it and give it a go. The random failed Spaceplane number 12 or something. Okay, it's not scraping the engine on the ground this time. Definitely a thumbs up there. Gain a bit of speed. Now let's lift up. Oh! Okay, fly backwards. It's not good. Ah! How did that cockpit survive? Jebediah is alive. There is a fireball. It has completely destroyed my entire runway. That is unfortunate. Oh well.